Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I hope you are all having a good day so far. I might also hold a record for the longest commute today from all the way from Korea. Obviously, the south side. In case you're wondering, definitely not the one in those dramatic headlines. So, let me introduce myself. Previously, I was a key part of the National COVID-19 Vaccination Digital Certificate System. This have achieved over 40 million cumulative downloads. I'm sorry, it's been a long time since I speak in English. And I am currently working as a front-end engineer at High Tech, and I am responsible for developing the dashboard for the nationwide automation of water meter reading system in Korea. Let me rewind a bit to the time before ChatGPT came out. I've always been that developer who heavily relied on Google and Stack Overflow. I've always been that I used to joke that they deserve at least 30% of my salary. But one day there was a massive fire across the whole country. So it was a total blackout. It only lasted 1 or 2 hours, but during the time I couldn't do anything. So that was the first time I felt a real existential crisis as a developer. And then ChatGPT came along. It changed everything. I could get answer without Googling. Things became faster. But I also felt intimidated. I'm pretty sure I wasn't the only one who thought AI was starting to take over. Then this came to my mind. If this is a horse, instead of trying to outpace it, I should learn how to ride it. So here's some context. The context is very important when it comes to prompt engineering. These are screenshots of my previous workplace work tracking app. I was regularly working over 12 hours a day, or sometimes more. I was completely drained physically and emotionally. But there was still this eagerness inside of me, a curiosity that pushed me down the rabbit hole. I wanted to ease that honest feeling about AI. So after work, I Googled things, read the blog, sat in front of my monitor in the dark, like I was hypnotized. That's when I found the term from engineering. Then I discovered a GitHub project called the Prompt Engineering Guide. I'm pretty sure many of you have known this page. It had already been translated into many languages, but not in Korean. And for some reason, that really bothered me. So I decided to jump in and submit a pull request. While working on it, I noticed someone had already opened an issue for the Korean translation, but he hadn't made any progress. So I reached out and asked if I could join, and he said yes. Then a third person joined too. No meeting, no fuss, just 3 volunteers working on one GitHub thread. All of us had full-time jobs at the moment, but together, without a single meeting, we translated the entire guide in under 10 days. Before this, I never believed in the concept of the perfect group project, but now I do. After that, life went back to normal, and I almost forgot about the translation. Then one day on my way home, I got an unexpected email. It was from the person who first opened the issue. He said, hey, there's this government-supported program called OSCA, which supports open source contributor. Want to apply as mentor together? So OSCA is a program run by Korea's Ministry of Science and ICT. It helps open source contributor like providing mentorship, some funding, and support that people who make contribution can keep doing what they love. So I thought, why not give it a try? But soon after, doubts hit me. I didn't major in computer science. I only had an 8-month bootcamp and 2 years of dev experience. I'm actually still a student studying music industry, have been taking a leave of absence from college for almost 10 years. So technically, you can call me an almost college dropout. So I doubt myself, like, am I qualified to teach someone else's? But in the end, I stopped overthinking. Just do it, like the Nike slogan. So we launched a project called the Prom Engineer's Guide to the LMM, inspired by the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, of course. Here's a photo from our kickoff day. 25 mentees joined, and some are developer, some professional translator, researcher, student, really diverse mix. But then my co-mentor, the one who invited me, moved to the US. Within a month, he got a new job, a new baby, and had to step down. And just like that, I was the only mentor left. Honestly, I was panicking, but it just so happened that I had recently quit my job to escape a toxic work environment. So I had plenty of time. I decided to give it my all. And the mentees were amazing. They took our original translation and improved it beyond what I ever imagined. We made heavy use of GitHub, not just for translation, but for discussion, issues, everything. We split into 4 teams based on interest and even peer-reviewed each other's work. We even published a Korean prompt engineering glossary to make future translation more consistent. When you translate into another language, you'll know how important it is to have consistent terminology. We even reached out to the original author and got a shout out. So here's a short clip that shows the atmosphere. I hope the volume is not too loud. Oh, the sound is not working. All right. I'll just use mine. So this includes not only my project, there are 20 projects in total. So it might be like thousands of people in here. So let's get back to this slide. So later we presented our work in front of other open source contributors. Then at first I thought it would just be a one-time thing, but it kept going. That first batch led to another in 2024, and then another in 2025. Over the past 3 years, more than 500 people have applied for this project. I had chance to work with 75 contributors in total. So we founded the Prompt Engineering Korean organization on GitHub. This came at the perfect time in my career. As a mid-level developer, is to get stuck, comfortable, stagnant, but this reminds me of why I got into tech in the first place. So this all started with burnout, a GitHub repo, and some late-night translation session. I never planned to be a mentor or to build a community, but it happened because I cared enough to start something. And here's the lesson I learned. You don't need to be an expert. You don't need any permission. You just need to show up and do the work. Even if just one issue, one pull request, or just one paragraph. You do not overcome burnout with more coffee. You can overcome it by finding something that matters. So thank you for staying awake. It really means a lot to share this moment with you. I know this might sound like a little bit like a Grammy speech, but truly took me a lot of trial and error to get here because, as I mentioned before, I major in music industry, but I haven't graduated yet. And also I worked as an English tutor for 2 years, but I think I'm disqualified for it. No. All right. And then I joined the bootcamp for the coding. Before that, I didn't know what the HTML kind of thing is. I don't know. Life's such a journey. Nobody knows what's next. So as someone who started out studying music, being part of this tech scene today feels meaningful. So thank you everyone for being here to share it. Thank you for listening. Oops.
I didn't expect to get so spiritual and introspective, but that was an amazing talk. And hearing about your journey and also just, of course, the content of your talk and everything you've accomplished has been fantastic. Love to open it up for questions. I have a few of my own as well. But yeah, I just wanted to say thanks again. So yeah, if there's any questions, now is the time. All right, we got one in the back.
Can I ask a question? It's unfortunate.
Hold on. Oh, sorry, we just had one hand up right before you. I'll come to you next. No problem.
First of all, congratulations on overcoming your burnout. It's a very real issue. In the beginning, you mentioned that the need for this guide was very strong, that inspired you to get involved on top of the existing workload. Would you say that completing it helped? Which changes came into your day-to-day work and just general feel after completing this?
After completing this, actually, it didn't feel nothing because when you work over 12 hours a day, every day, it makes me something else's. I'm not like, I go to work, I there physically, but, and I always be thirsty about something else's too. So after finishing the translation thing, the life has been so normal, like before. Yeah.
That's a great answer. Come here for you.
I just want to say congratulations on your mental fulfillment on progressing with this passion, and obviously from where you've started to now where it's come to, and no doubt will continue. Coding, unfortunately, is very English US centric. And in relation to then translations, being able to open it up to the world, which is such a diverse community, how were you able to overcome then the technical language parts within the translation to, say, Korean, and then how would that help others go through a particular process or the same process that you went through to be able to translate it into their language without losing the meaning and insight from those technical parts?
Yes, that's the very crucial part when you translate something into your mother language. So that's the reason why we made a glossary for Korean, because let's say there's a word like, you guys all know what COT is, the chain of thought, and we don't know any word for it because it's a new term, right? So before we made the Korean glossary, some people translated to this term and some people translate that term, and there's no consistency. So I really think that I need to make this some kind of anchor. What do I say? Gosh, promise between the people who translate it into Korean. So I think it's very important, but I forget what was the question.
No, that's okay. I think you did a great job of addressing it and the challenges that come from translating what is, you mentioned like chain of thought, right? That's a very like English centric, and translating that over to Korean, which I think you did a great job of explaining. My question that I get to selfishly ask because I'm holding the microphone just is that most people in this room are based in the United States, and so we don't know, of course, the day-to-day of South Korea and how that feels. But what is like the feeling or attitude towards AI generally in South Korea?
Oh, people using AI?
Yes.
Oh, it's very normal, they say. People say AI is gonna take over our job maybe in a decade or maybe earlier than that. And also, not even the people in the tech industry, like a tutor or high school student. Everyone, literally everyone, uses AI every day in their single life. And also, my dad is really not good at this tech thing. He's in his 60s, but he uses ChatGPT, and I was quite impressed about it. So, yeah, I think it's pretty normal, and I heard that people, oh, it's strange that we cannot go back to the day before ChatGPT. So, yeah, it's not pretty. It's so well known.
Yeah. That's very interesting. Yeah, I think it's always interesting to see how other people use ChatGPT, but it's especially interesting to see how your parents use it. So I'm sure that was funny. And yeah, I mean, it's hard to imagine going back to a world before where you had to Google and look at Stack Overflow versus just being able to get the answers now. And it's such a transformative technology, which is why everyone seems to be very bought in for correct reasons. But unless there are any questions, I think we can wrap for the break here. And just wanted to say thank you again.
Okay, thank you so much.